Today we're going to be doing Module 5, Lesson 8. The objective is to represent parts of one whole as fractions with number bonds. The materials needed for today are your online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser. You may also want your fraction strips out just to reference to help you. And the teaching style we're going to follow is where I do it, we do it together, and then you do it on your own. First up, I'm going to show you an example of what we'll be doing today. It says, show a number bond representing what is shaded and unshaded. So yesterday, we practiced looking at fraction strips and counting what fraction was shaded and what fraction was unshaded. Now we're going to do something similar, except you can see that this isn't a fraction strip, but it is still a shape broken into equal pieces. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a number bond to represent those pieces of our whole. So if you remember from back when we did number bonds, we have our big one on top, which is our whole. And then we're going to have two pieces to each of our number bonds. One piece will represent the shaded, and one piece will represent the unshaded. So I start with my number bond. I'm going to go ahead and label this top piece as 1 for one whole. Now let's look at how many pieces I have shaded. I have 1, 2, 3 pieces shaded. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 in my numerator spot. And how many pieces are there all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 pieces all together. And I'm just going to notate over here that we are working with fifths. Since there are 5 pieces, this is broken into fifths. So we did the shaded part. Well, now let's look at the unshaded part. 1, 2. Just these 2 pieces on the sides are unshaded, so I'm going to label that 2. Out of the 5 pieces are unshaded, or 2 fifths. Something that you may notice is that if we were to add the 3 shaded pieces plus the 2 unshaded pieces, we would end up having 5 pieces all together, okay? And as you know, our shape is broken into 5 pieces, so that makes sense. If we add together the shaded and the unshaded pieces, we should end up with how many pieces there are all together. Okay, so that's kind of a way you can check your work to make sure you added them correctly. Let's go ahead and have you try one with me. This shape is pretty complicated to draw, so I don't want you to draw that on your whiteboard. I just want you to look at the one I have up here on the screen. And we're going to show a number bond representing what is shaded and unshaded. So the part I do need you to draw is the number bond. So let's start with our big piece, which is one whole. And then we need 2 legs on our number bond. One is going to be for shaded pieces, and one is going to be for unshaded pieces. I'll give you a moment to get that drawn. Okay, let's go ahead and count how many pieces are shaded or colored in. So there are 1, 2, 3 gray pieces, or 3 of those gray triangles shaded. So I'm going to put a 3 for my numerator. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces all together. So that'll be my denominator. So this shape is broken into fourths. And we figured out that 3 of those fourths are shaded. So that would be 3/4. That's how many is shaded. Over here in the other leg of your number bond, I want you to go ahead and write the fraction that is unshaded. Go ahead and write what fraction is unshaded, and then I'll have you check your work with mine. Okay, so you should have counted that one of the pieces is not colored in, or it is unshaded. One piece out of the 4 pieces altogether. So you should have written that 1/4 is unshaded. Now remember, we can check our work by adding our numerators together. 3 plus 1 is 4. And we had 4 pieces. Okay. Go ahead and erase your whiteboard. We're going to try another example. Show a number bond representing what is shaded and unshaded. So same question, but we have a different shape. I don't need you to draw the shape, but I do need you to draw the number bond with your top piece representing one whole. And then you need 2 legs, one for the shaded piece and one for the unshaded pieces. I'm going to give you a moment to get that number bond drawn and ready, and then we're going to start labeling it with our fractions. Okay, let's start with counting how many pieces are shaded or colored in. There's just 1, 2. Just those 2 gray pieces are colored in. So my numerator is 2. Let's see how many pieces there are all together. So there's 3 pieces, so I can actually skip count 3, 6, 9, because that kind of looks like an array. So this is a ninths because there's 9 pieces. So 2 out of those 9 pieces are shaded. So that's 2/9. Now in the other leg, go ahead and label the unshaded fraction. I'll give you a moment to go ahead and write that unshaded fraction. Okay, so I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces that are not shaded out of the 9 pieces altogether. So we would say that 7/9 is unshaded. And then, of course, our trick, we add the numerators together to make sure that we came up with the right amount of pieces. 2 plus 7 is 9. So we do have the right number of pieces altogether. So if we were to put those pieces together, this one whole would be like saying we have 9 pieces altogether out of 9. And we'll learn more about that later. Okay, let's take a look at what you're going to be doing on your own today. It's going to be a Cami homework assignment. You're doing numbers 1 through 4. It should look just like this. They're different shapes, so they don't look exactly like our fraction strips, but you can count how many pieces there are all together. And then you're going to be labeling the shaded fraction and the unshaded fraction. Okay, I did draw in the number bonds for you already to save you some time. So all you need to do is for each question, you need to fill in the 1 for one whole up in the top, and then fill in the shaded and unshaded fraction. Okay, go ahead and begin.